Okay, now we will call the regional school committee to order. We do have remote participants. We'll go around and say present. Irv,
Present.
Jennifer,
Present.
Sarah,
Present.
William,
Present.
Anna,
Yes, present.
Bridget,
Yes, present.
Deb,
Present.
Tillman,
Present.
and Sarah Bass present. We are all present. So we are called to order. I don't have much for a chair's update. I do want to say thank you for everybody who's coming and speaking to us. We know we have some really big things to talk about and sticky situations to make our way through the best we can. So I'm sure we will all have big feelings about all of the things that are happening, but I would just ask that we remember we're all people trying to do the best that we can, and to just be respectful of each other. And so, any school committee announcements? Sarah?
I can say that the superintendent search committee, which is conducting preliminary screening interviews, is in process of interviewing 6 candidates.
Excellent.
We
Thank
hope
you.
to be reporting back on schedule.
Perfect. Jennifer?
I have a few things. First, I went to see the High School Musical, Nice Work If You Can Get It, on Friday, and it was fantastic. It was the cast and the pit orchestra and the sets and the crew and the lighting, everything was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It was top notch. So congratulations to Mr. Bechtold, Ms. Bear, Mr. Fruth, and all the cast, crew, and everyone involved. It was really delightful. Secondly, the SNS, the Subcommittee for a New Superintendent, is going to meet again on March 20th, concurrently with the search committee screening and choosing finalists. The SNS is going to develop a recommendation for the joint committees, the Regional School Committee and Union 26, we're going to propose a recommendation for what the process will look like when we bring finalists to the district. And we hope to present that to you all at this, and Union 26 at the same time that in the same meeting that the finalists are announced, so that we can just keep moving forward with bringing finalists to the district. And the March 20th meeting of the SNS is going to be in the evening, and it will be open to, all SNS meetings are open to the public, and there will be public comment, so any members of the public who have ideas or suggestions on what that superintendent, finalist, site visits, and public interviews should look like should email me or attend the meeting and give your comments. And lastly, I just want to report that I'm on the AFSCME contract negotiations team, and we have been meeting regularly, and the contract negotiations are progressing well, and it's still in progress.
That's great. Thank you. Any other school committee announcements?
Policy meeting? Policy subcommittee met, and we discussed, I think I summarized properly, but we discussed foundations and basic commitments, the AC policy, and we'll continue to work on that, as well as, let's see, harassment and retaliation, hiring policy, instructional program, anti-bullying and policy, and we didn't discuss student-to-student harassments. We put that on the future agenda. Several of those items were ready to send back to full committee. Several of them were ready to send to the attorney, and I could pull those up, but I don't think we need to.
That's perfect. Thank you.
They've already been submitted, just to let you know.
Oh, great.
Were there any other school committee announcements? I actually just want to piggyback on what Jennifer said about great things that are happening. So I have a rising 9th grader, and I went to the open house for rising 9th grade parents, and it was fantastic. It's like a big night when you're youngest kid. It's like getting ready to go to high school, and the teachers and the presentations that they all had were lovely. So great job, and thank you so much. All right. So moving along, we have approval of minutes. Are there any edits for the February 6th meeting?
Yes.
Sarah?
If you can scroll to, oops, it was there.
I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
Not that one.
I believe item I under meeting opening. Oop. Well, wherever
Oh,
you went by it. Yeah, it says Ms. Marshall. It should be Ms. Kenny, I believe. I'm not the chair of this committee. And then, don't do that. And then under B, new and continuing business B, if you just scroll down a little bit, stop. End of the second paragraph under B is an incomplete sentence. I don't know what should go there. And then under G, you went too far, G. But, oh, no, you didn't. SLR, I don't know what that is. What's SLR? Was this the,
It's the vendor that's working on the track and field project, but that should be spelled out.
oh, okay, or, no, yeah, thank you.
Were there other updates?
Ms. Chair, Ms. Kenny,
Yes.
It's Debbie.
Debbie?
Ms. Kenny,
Yes, Debbie.
I don't, maybe she can't hear you for some reason?
Ms. Chair, Ms. Kenny.
Debbie, can you hear us?
I think she's watching the video over.
I just want to let you know that that is not the right set of minutes for February 6th.
Oh.
Is that what was attached to board doc?
Yes.
Yes.
Debbie, can you hear us?
30 seconds.
I just want to let you know that that is not the right set of minutes for February 6th.
Just skip it.
How about we just skip this one and we'll move to our next one and go from there?
I
Okay.
apologize then, I definitely attached the wrong set.
That's okay.
All right.
Okay. How about 227? Sarah?
Yes, just C, paragraph C, which is probably public comment. Well, no, keep going. Next. Here, this C, very long. Can you just break up any of these big paragraphs? It's hard to read. Thank you.
Any other updates to 227? Jennifer?
I move we approve the minutes of February 27th, 2024.
I will second it. And roll call vote. Irv?
Yes.
Sorry, I should have said
discussion.
as amended. Can I amend to
Friendly amendment.
to as amended? Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
William?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Tillman?
Yes.
And Sarah Beth? Yes. So approved 9-0 as amended. Okay. And the minutes of 3-6. Are there any updates? Sarah?
Same comment on 2A, item 2A. New and there. Just, I'm not sure if it's really an amendment. It's not changing the text at all. It's just putting paragraph breaks in. Thank you.
Anna?
I'm not sure, but I think in 1A, I think William called the meeting to order. I'm not positive.
I called the meeting to order, but William
Oh,
took
but then
over.
he
I
ended
took
up chairing.
over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it says, oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
He did run it though. Any other updates? Jennifer?
I move that we approve the March 6, 2024 minutes as amended.
I second.
Moved by Jennifer, second by William. Irv?
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
William,
Yes.
Anna,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Deb,
Yes.
Tillman,
Yes.
and Sarah Beth, yes. So we are approved. Excellent. Do we have warrants to report?
Yep.
All right.
So I, William Scher, authorized by my signature in the amount of, for the warrant dated 797,700.
You didn't say the date.
It's not there. Sorry.
Is it that date?
Yes, on 3/6/2024. Sorry. It was out of order. I apologize. I, William Scher, authorized by my signature in the amount of, oh, this is the same exact one, 797,700 on 3/6/2024. Do I have to do the high school transfers? No? Okay. Sorry. On 3/6/2024, I, William Scher, authorized by my signature, payables in the amount of $144,097.19. It was general funds expenses of $139,289.19, athletic revolving fund expenses of $633, and general fund debt expenses of $4,175. And that was on, it was on 3/6/2024. And the last one. On 3/8/2024, I, William Scher, authorized by my signature, payables in the amount of $467,685.69. It included general funds expenses of $222,615.84, revolving fund expenses of $12,080.04, general fund debt expense of $0, and gifts of $57.48. Grants funds of $27,065.19, capital of $205,867.14. Thank you.
Thanks, William. Okay. Next item is gifts, which, Jennifer?
I move that we accept the following gifts from League of Women Voters number 1442 to support $250 each to ARMS Library and ARHS Library for materials on civics and women's studies for a total of $500, and Shirley Musamechi, National Financial Services LLC number 938635745 to support 2024 Leo P. Vigneault Memorial Scholarship for a total of $500 for a cash total of $1,000.
Thank you. I will second that. And how do you vote, Irv?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
William?
Yes.
Anna?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Tillman?
Yes.
Sarah Beth, yes. All right.
Thank the donors.
Yes, and thank you so much for the donations. Okay. Okay. So our next item up is public comment. Do we want to run through the, or we can do people in here first, since they're here. Okay, so if you would like to make public comment, you can come up, speak at the microphone. We are going to, since there are so many of us, we'll try very hard to, there's a 3-minute time limit and to move on from there. And we are to not assign time from one person to the next. So, if there is anybody who would like to start, please come forward.
Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Great. My name is William Roundy, and I am the department head of world languages at the high school. 46 educators, including all district language teachers, signed a longer form of this comment submitted in writing. All of us agree the proposed changes to the middle school world language program will irrevocably harm it. The proposed changes would shift both 7th and 8th grade language to every other day meetings, thus cutting 8th grade language instruction in half. To justify these cuts, district leadership proposes that the ARMS World Language Program be exploratory, non-cumulative in nature, and its graduates would start from scratch at the high school. First, this curricular shift won't serve our students and program. In the mid-2010s, we reduced our exceptional 2-year ARMS language program to 1.5 years by cutting half of the 7th grade program. This newest proposal will reduce the program, again, to half of its original size. This loss compounds the problems we already face at the high school with the new block schedule, a loss of 20% of class minutes and gap semesters. Further, we already tried the every other day model at ARMS, circa 2018. It was a failure due to middle schoolers' executive functioning capabilities. Finally, if the classes don't progress towards level 2, we sacrifice the most advantageous time to teach language fundamentals when brains are younger, and we create a domino effect that will impact learning all the way up to AP. Second, this curricular shift won't serve our teachers and staffing. The ARMS World Language faculty currently account for 3.4 teachers. We expected and can accept a small reduction in staffing in a bad budget year. But by my estimation, next year's minimum language teaching load minus school duties would be Chinese 0.2 teachers, Latin 0.3 teachers, French 0.4 teachers, Spanish 0.8 teachers. We're left with 2 to 3 positions cut or with majorly reduced pay, which might be unable to qualify for health insurance. Is this how we value language education and educators? We can assume impacted teachers will apply for better full-time positions in other districts, which they are fully qualified for. We may be unable to hire replacements. Plus, when the 6th grade moves to ARMS soon, we'll just have to add all of this language staffing back, having lost our current staff members. Third, this curricular shift won't serve our budget. The cuts won't help long-term. The unattractive teaching positions will be filled with expensive retired educators, or not at all, leading to the temporary or permanent collapse of individual languages. Loss of languages will have families looking to skip ARMS and even ARHS. They will select the Chinese Immersion School, Deerfield Academy, Charlemont, Northampton Public Schools, etc. 2 years from now, you'll be in the exact same place, wondering why you have to cut yet another program. One final note, our 7 to 12 Department of World Languages is one of the most diverse departments in the district, in race, religion, culture, national origin, and first language. And the teaching standards for Massachusetts language curricula include learning about and celebrating difference. Our district states its commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and our world language classes are where these values are taught directly to students. I'm almost done. Cutting down this subject is obviously counterproductive to our district's commitments. Curricular changes must be approved by the school committee. Even if you approve some budget tonight, deny the language proposal. It's unacceptable, and as the spokesperson for the 7 to 12 world language programs, I can affirm that we unanimously and completely reject it. Thank you, everyone. Help us fix this.
Hello, I'm Amrita Rutter. I'm a senior at Amherst Regional High School, and I'm from Sunrise Amherst. And I came to this meeting today to say that I urge you to reject this budget. When I say the Restorative Justice Department is getting cut, I get one of 2 responses in the last week. Some people ask me, what is the Restorative Justice Department? And others respond with intense anger and fear for the well-being of themselves and their friends. Restorative justice is in many ways invisible. It is an underground safety net holding up students who would otherwise slip through the cracks. If it was not for Mr. Buford and the Restorative Justice Department, I would probably not find myself standing here today. After my friend Anna died last year, I struggled to find support at school. Mr. Buford and Miss Soto, who does not work here this year, went above and beyond to support me. I felt seen by them as a whole person. My pain was held and not pushed aside. There are many other students like me who have been supported by Mr. Buford and the RJ program. Students that are often not given support. Black and brown and queer and poor students. Students who would have otherwise been suspended or expelled find support, humanity, and protection in his room. It was a long fight to get this program here at the high school, and it would be a huge step backwards for us to lose it. Please do not take our support systems away. Reject this budget.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deborah Ferreira. I'm a resident of Amherst. I'm also here to say reject this budget that was put out. I was very concerned about several aspects of the budget, but first around the restorative justice elimination of the position. I was just really, horrified by that. Restorative justice, as others have stated, is a position that really assists all students within the high school, and there's restorative justice also in the middle school. And it needs to be, RJ needs to be something to be protected. It not only helps out all of the students, but specifically BIPOC students. We can't only rely on options that are disciplinarian and focused on discipline. We need to have positions that really focus on other options for students, for them to learn, because that's why they're in school, right? To develop, to learn how to actually engage and move forward if they do make mistakes. And so to eliminate this position and also eliminate a position that has Aaron Buford, who's been doing a brilliant job, who is a black male. I have an 8th grader in the middle school right now who is a black child. And going to the high school would have been the first time that he would have actually been with a black male, and now this position is being eliminated. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't know how this thought pattern was concluded and this decision made. And then also the other positions around mental health, which, as we know through the pandemic, that was one of the things that is extremely needed right now, is assistance for mental health. So I saw that positions are being eliminated there, for special education. So basically everything that's dealing with marginalized voices, the voices of young people that actually need the assistance, is being cut. And then as the other speaker talked about world language, my son wasn't even able to take world language for the 2nd year. So when he goes to the high school, he's already going to be in dispossessed in terms of being able to do language honors, because he wasn't able to take the language that he needed in the 8th grade, and now you all are cutting it further. In terms of math, cutting the math, my son, again, wasn't able to get the best math resource in the middle school, and now you all are thinking of cutting math. I mean, some of these decisions need to be rethought, not only for the students there, but for especially BIPOC students, because we need to focus on giving resources and more assistance to everyone. And then I saw the consolidation of the department heads. I actually was at that Rising 9th grader session, which was wonderful, but I saw that all the department heads were actually, at least, by me looking at them, white and Caucasian. And so if you consolidate those numbers, what is that going to do in terms of actually hiring others that could be BIPOC? We need to do better. We need to do better around diversity. We need to do better around inclusion. So these cuts are not going to help to be more inclusive. So I want to urge you all to really rethink and come back with a better proposal, because what you all are proposing now is just going to be atrocious. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Elliot Crow. I'm a resident of Amherst. I can't speak to the entire budget, but I do wish to voice my strong opposition to the proposal to cut back world languages in the 8th grade. I can speak from experience of having taught at a school where 8th graders had partial year in the 8th grade level. It drastically increases student resentment when they get to a high school and they find that they sometimes are surprised, or when they finally get there, that they have to take their entire year over if they wish to continue a language, which they usually do because they've already begun and they've already developed an appreciation for a particular language and culture. And I can just say, every study that's ever been done shows that increasing world language increases academic performance across the board, and increasing it at the younger level is most helpful, and it's a critical component of any quality education. So again, I strongly oppose cutting back world languages. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Virginia Kloss, and I am the parent of a future Amherst Middle School and High School student. I am also the graduate program director for the Classics Department at UMass Amherst, where we have an MAT program, 30 years and counting, that has trained high school and middle school Latin teachers for public schools in the state of Massachusetts. A critical part of our program is actually the practicum work, the student teaching that we send our students out to do at various public schools. Amherst Middle School and High School has been a crucial component of this for many years. So I did want to make you aware that in addition to the harms to our students, which have already been explained so well by some of the previous speakers, there's a larger community of learning here that will also be affected by these changes. This will put our students at a severe disadvantage, and it will make it impossible for actually the middle school students to benefit from learning from more teaching professionals. So there is that concern, and I don't want to kind of reiterate too much what's already been said about how important it is for language instruction to begin early, but I can confirm as a teaching professional myself that that is the case, and so I think it would really be a shame also if at a time when in so many other states, programs and teaching that increase, just broaden students' horizons, so diversity, equity, and inclusion, but also language learning, because I don't think there's any real substitute for that way of learning to communicate and learning to look at the world. If all of that were shut down here in Massachusetts because of, not crazy legislation, but because of really short-sighted budget cuts. So that's, I think, what I'm here to say. But I also do want to say that we came here and paid taxes here because we wanted our child to have a really high-quality public education. And if that's not possible, I want to echo what Will Roundy already said, that I'm not the only parent that would be looking elsewhere if I couldn't get my child good language instruction at a really high-quality public school. So, thank you.
Hi, my name is Shad Ahmed. Currently, I'm a junior here at ARHS, and I reside in Amherst. Recently, I had heard that the district would be cutting the restorative justice program, resulting in the termination of Mr. Buford. As a participant in the RJ program, I cannot stress enough the invaluable impact it has had on me personally, as well as on our school community as a whole. Under Mr. Buford's guidance, many people, including myself, have developed essential skills to succeed in school and forged meaningful connections that have significantly contributed to our personal growth and academic success. The RJ program fosters a culture of empathy, accountability, and problem solving, which are important attributes in any educational setting. Removing such a vital program would not only deprive current and future students of its benefits, but also undermine the sense of community and support that our school strives to cultivate. I also understand that you may incorporate this program into the dean's office, but the deans have a job and responsibility to discipline when needed, which is also vital in a school system, but Buford's work has helped students, including myself, not get to the point where we need to be disciplined, but work out problems peacefully and maturely. Also, giving this program to the deans would just add to their caseload, and their main focus wouldn't be just on RJ, which Buford strives to do. A petition was started in which just under 200 people, including students, teachers, and parents, have shown that this program is important to them and would love to see a future for Mr. Buford and RJ. I urge you to listen to the 180 plus people and reconsider the decision to cut the RJ program and Mr. Buford, as it serves as a cornerstone of our schools' morals and positively impacts the lives of countless students.
My name is Vincent O'Connor. I live at 175 Summer Street in Amherst. I have three things to say. You should have received by email a copy of the DESE regional school budget process. On paragraph 7, every paragraph other than paragraph 7 uses the word shall. Paragraph 7 uses the word must. It also gives two different deadlines, one 45 days and the other March 31st. You will be legally, fully within your legal rights to reject this budget and to get the superintendent in the next 2 weeks or so to present a different iteration of the budget. Second, this afternoon, before 50 to 75 people in front of the Converse Library at Amherst College, the Amherst College president, who spoke with a group for 15 or 20 minutes, said that he would, if the regional school committee voted to appoint a negotiating committee to deal with Amherst College with respect to financial contributions, that he would meet with them. Third, my history with the superintendent is that he coached youth basketball, and one of the kids that I dealt with a number of years ago was on an opposing team. And one of the things that I admired about the acting superintendent was the manner in which he conducted himself toward the students that were on his youth basketball team. And what I'd like to say to the superintendent is, I think this directly, I think this budget puts, and the previous superintendent has put Doug Slaughter in an awful position. 20 or so people who were colleagues of his, and maybe less, were given appointments that really cause problems for the school budget. And what I'd like to ask you to give the acting superintendent is a chance to really look and choose between the few people whose administrative expenses have ballooned the budget and the over 1,200 students who are in the regional school district. I think if you give him the chance, he will make the right choice. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ashley Dunn, and I'm a resident of Sunderland, Massachusetts. And I'm here to read a letter that is penned by the Amherst Regional Middle School Exploratory Department, as well as the Amherst Regional Public Schools Performing Arts Department. We collaborated on this. We are writing to you on behalf of the ARMS Exploratory and ARPS Performing Arts Departments across the middle and high school. We are deeply concerned about the proposal to cut 4.1 teaching and professional positions at ARMS and 6 teaching and professional positions, along with 4 paraeducator positions at ARHS. The courses, programs, and services that our district offers across departments allows for an education that values, respects, and empowers the whole student. Any cut to our staff will result in fewer opportunities for all of our students, especially our most vulnerable students. We have experienced many cuts over the last few years, impacting the safety needs of our students. So if you continue to allow cuts to staffing positions, the safety and welfare of our students and staff will continue to decrease. We lose quality education in this type of environment. Please consider the whole picture and its impact to the community versus just the funding side. We stand with the APEA's message to say no to the proposed budget. We urge you, our school committee, and Superintendent Doug Slaughter, to exhaust any and all possible avenues of eliminating these cuts. Our students are counting on you to reject this budget so they may continue to have an equitable and enriching education in our schools. Sincerely, the ARPS Middle and High School Performing Arts and Exploratory Programs, signed Chris Spinozzi, Ashley Dunn, Remy Fernandez O'Brien, Kara Kagi Bear, Yasu Suzuki, Marcia Gomes, Kenny Ramos, John Bechtold, Tina Taylor, and Todd Fruth. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? My name is Gerardo Antonio Celaya. I'm an educator here. I'd like to begin by saying that we are witnessing a dangerous time I stand here before you in angst among the direction in which you, as a committee, will steer our students' education. A mentor of mine always told me that we don't work for the district, but rather we work for our students. Let me say this again. We don't work for the district, we work for our students. In the last few days, I've had students come into class in panic and frustration, expressing in disbelief the major cuts they heard about in last week's meeting. Today, you have a major decision to make, a decision that you as a committee will be known for moving forward. It's a damn shame today's decision will determine the quality of education and services students will have access to. As a predominantly white district, I don't think it can afford losing access to the world. I am here to tell you that by gutting the world language department, you will limit students' perspective to how diverse this world really is. Most importantly, you will bankrupt students' linguistic capita that will limit their perspective and diversity in their education. I have rising ninth graders who look forward to the French dinner because it gives them an opportunity to experience a culture that is different from theirs. I have seen students greet their teachers in Chinese with enthusiasm as they walk in the hallways. I have overheard students enthusiastically talk about Greek figures who I have no idea about, and I have seen ARH students who are not native Spanish speakers decide to further their education and study abroad in order to perfect the language. These examples have been limited because of the timer. So getting to my point, in commonality, these students began their world language experience in middle school. This was an option they, as individuals and scholars, pursued because of their curiosity of a culture that is different from theirs. So by further limiting their experience to the world, what message are you sending and what perspective are you upholding? In the last week's meeting, the question was asked, what is going to happen to the 60-plus students who need academic support? What is going to happen to the 60-plus students who need academic support, and at whose further expense will they receive support from when funds from this bill overlook them? What message are you sending them? Sink or swim? Reject this budget. You are ostracizing students from receiving the education they deserve. You are limiting the people who they look forward to because they have found a community they feel part of and an individual whom they know believes in them. Reject this bill.
Good afternoon, or good evening rather. My name is Aaron Buford and I'm the Restorative Justice Coordinator. I've been an educator for almost 15 years now in the state of Massachusetts. I'm a father of 3 children, one of which is in the high school at the moment. I just want to first start in saying that I stand in solidarity with the staff, faculty, students, and community members that marched today, calling on our community to continue to advocate for maintaining and retaining the members who come through the doors every day to educate the young folks, and to continue to support the young people who come in every day to bring passion and light into this community so that they can have a future for themselves. And so I just wanted to, as a non-union employee, just express that appreciation for the support that I've been receiving from the APEA around supporting this role. So first, I want to just say what the role of Restorative Justice Coordinator means to me, because I don't think that I've taken an opportunity to really share that piece. The first thing that I'll say is the role of Restorative Justice Coordinator here at the high school is a very practical position. I'm here every day as an adult who's trained in really being able to center humanity in ways that when things are happening in our buildings, I can show up and be emotionally and physically available for the teachers and the students when there are difficult situations to manage. And that's a practical way to show up for our young people, is just to be here and say that I'm present and I'm always going to be available to be able to make space for the hard things that students are bringing in as they come through the doors. The other piece is aspirational. I think that, in the earlier ages, our students come into our classrooms and they're looking to us to model for them what it means to enact care, what it means to enact kindness in ways that are going to further their social and emotional growth, as well as in supporting their capacity to learn. the academics that they're coming through the doors for. But at some point, it seems as if we forget to continue to embed that into the framework or into the tapestry of the culture that is our middle schools and our high schools. And I think that the RJ coordinator position in the RJ program is a program that brings that back into the understanding about why we come through the doors. We come through the doors because we understand that human relationships are the driving force for learning, for change, and for healing. And so I see my role every day in that practical sense when I'm on the basketball court with my students, making those connections in the morning time. But I also see it as an aspirational thing that says that education is more than just cracking open that book, but it's really opening up yourself. And my role is to really have a space to open up the self and support any person in this building to really get to that work. Students, there's a few. Is that my 3 minute? Okay, I'll try to keep it a little bit shorter then. I think a few factual things I don't want to say is that in terms of thinking about how our work is quantified, last year we had 206 restorative conversations. Wow. Yes. What that means is those are students coming through our doors and saying, I don't know what to do. I don't even know if I want this other person to get in trouble, but I don't know where to go. And we start developing a capacity and a framework to start looking at what work needs to be done and how we can bring people into conversations in order for things to be resolved and repaired so that healing can happen. Additionally, we had 14 restorative circles that are folks dialoguing with each other, coming up with agreements, and maintaining and creating peace. We partner with classrooms twice a week. We go into any classroom that would like for us to model community building, relationship building circles. We partner with classrooms in order to have those engaging conversations where people get to know each other better. I'm almost done. For the last 3 years, we have had 2 additional young adult restorative relation core members coming here for 40 hours a week in order to hold circles in classes twice a week. That is a burden that was not placed on our district. That is through grant writing that we support, and we got some support from Doug to really fund this, 2 additional adults who can help support restorative conversations in classrooms on a daily basis. We're a constant drop-in space for students to come in and to be seen, heard, and uplifted. And lastly, I just want to ask you all to reject this budget as it currently exists, because I think without a restorative justice program in our schools, we're not going to be a model for, I don't believe we're going to be a model of education that I came to Amherst High School with the mission to help it become. I want our school to reflect something different about how we conceive education here. And the restorative justice program is such an opportunity to really represent what this Amherst culture and community is about. So thank you for your time.
My name is Mary Lou Conca. I live in Shutesbury, part of the Restorative Justice Working Group. And we're here to read you a packet for those who are not familiar with restorative justice. Okay, here I go. The Amherst Regional School District says, our mission is the academic achievement of every student learning in a system dedicated to social justice and multiculturalism. The school system educates a diverse population of approximately 2,790 students, including native speakers of more than 38 languages. The Restorative Justice Initiative program emerged in the district as the result of ongoing efforts of activists, one of whom you're looking at, in our community. All right, I lost my space. Who carry on a tradition of grassroots organizing. This organizing goes decades back and includes groups like the NAACP in the early 90s and later study circles, dialogues on race and class, Vision Keepers, Race Discipline Action Rights, RADAR, and then the formation of Occupy Amherst Schools in Solidarity, OASIS, of which I was a member of, as well as the work of individuals and families who continue to struggle, mostly in isolation, to attempt to defend and find justice for their children. I especially want to uplift those voices and experiences here today. It was data that RADAR produced that clearly demonstrated the discipline disparities, which then and now continue to impact the children of the Black, Indigenous, people of color communities, also known as BIPOC, and people of the global majority. After many meetings, much research, and continued advocacy, a restorative justice program, RJ, began in September 2017 at the Amherst High School, and in September of 2019 at the Amherst Middle School. I'll be quick. It was the then present school committee who pushed and supported this effort, as well as the high school principal, Mark Jackson, in spite of the then superintendent, Mike Morris, who was not strongly interested in supporting such a program, and he never did, because the program has never been properly funded. This point is important because it shows the power and obligation that the school committee, that you all have, and can use for the benefit of our students and community. The recent draft report dated March 9, 2021, on anti-Black racism and Black-white disparities on the case for reparations in the town of Amherst states. The Amherst-Pelham Regional School District's own data over the past 30 years shows that Black students are disproportionately disciplined. My family has experienced relative to their white peers and tracked into lower level courses, and that staff are disproportionately white relative to the student body. Complaints from students, parents, staff, and the local chapter of the NAACP have cited harmful, racist incidents against both students and faculty of color. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm continuing. Hi, everybody. My name's Elisa Melnick, a resident of Amherst. Restorative justice is about building understanding amongst people. It is about honoring the knowledge and experience that young people and their families bring and building on that. It is about collectively creating community values and practices as an alternative to exclusionary disciplinary practices such as expulsions, suspensions, and referrals to administrators. Restorative justice shifts the focus from discipline and punishment to learning, and from a focus on the individual to a focus on the community. An effective and well-funded restorative justice program can create structures for the critical analysis of the historical and social conditions of oppression, race, power, and privilege through the implementation of youth participatory action research projects and Indigenous-originated circle practices. Through youth participatory action research, young people, with the support of caring and knowledgeable adults, are able to research problems in their schools and communities and create tangible actions to make systemic changes in their environment. Restorative justice is not only about integrating restorative principles and practices as an alternative to disciplinary practice and harm doing. It is also about exploring the conditions which allowed those disparities in discipline and suspensions, as well as other inequities, to happen in the first place. RJ recognizes that poverty, racism, homophobia, transphobia, and bias against children with different abilities has devastating and continuous effects on the individual, their family, and the social environment in which they live. The practice of restorative justice fosters open, honest communication and affords the opportunities for youth, families, teachers, staff, and community to deepen their understanding about the historic and societal factors that cause some students to do better than others and keeps many children from developing their full potential. In the long term, it is about actively engaging the problems that face our youth today and providing them and us with the knowledge and skills necessary to envision and create a more just and sustainable society.
Still some time?
20 seconds.
Okay. It has the potential to, and I have a few, just repair damaged solidarities and reconcile autonomy and interdependence amongst young people, students, teachers, staff, and family members. It recognizes the importance of curriculum and discussion of the problems the world faces today and the role of education in identifying and addressing these problems.
Hello. My name is Caridad, and I am a social justice activist and a committed agitator. Restorative justice also encourages individuals and groups to make things happen. Generative politics through the practice of participatory action research. It creates conditions and spaces where issues can thoroughly be explored and discussed. It develops conditions that empower participants as opposed to merely dispensing rules and commandments. It can help eliminate disciplinary actions of students at both the middle and the high school, which separates them from the centers of learning because of racial, behavioral, or learning profiles. It broadens and deepens the learning of students, faculty, staff, and administration about racism and anti-Blackness, anti-GLBTQ practices and policies, discrimination against children on IEPs and poor working-class families and children and other vulnerably and historically marginalized and invisibilized voices and experiences. Language programs do that too, the arts. The kind of sensitivity and skills and critical analysis that we can develop from these things are necessary to face the challenges of the 21st century. A strong restorative justice program requires continual, organized allocation of resources for the steady growth of the program and to effectuate systemic change in our schools in support of the, and I'm going to say supposed district's mission. The RJ program requires a structured and concerted effort to organize, coordinate, and provide the necessary financial support for the program across the district and across building coordinators. That was a vision that we had. Do not approve this budget as it stands. Instead of cutting the RJ program, instead allocate the necessary funds, which it has been deprived of for the last 9 years. Liberate the children from the grips of the greedy and the master narrative that says Black lives don't matter. Children with differing abilities don't matter. Trans children don't matter. I am one of the writers of that initial proposal, and it came on the back of all the things that we said, but also it comes as a result of the growing fascism in this country. The growing fascism in this country and around the world. And so it's your moral imperative to say no to this nonsense, right? And to say yes to life. Because this is a death sentence for many people, right? It is a death sentence in a very literal way, maybe, hopefully not, but also in a very real way. The death of the potential of children, the death of the potential of a different future, right? So it's time for us to say no. And this is not Doug's fault. It isn't individual's fault. It is a systemic problem. It is a structural problem, right? in where schools, and I'll definitely wrap it up, I usually don't, but I will. It is a moral imperative because the children today require an education that prepares them to take on the challenges of the world. And the world is saying, we need that, right? So free the children and free Palestine.
Good evening. My name is Mari Vicente, and I am a Spanish teacher here at the high school. I have been at the high school for 16 years, and I was a guidance counselor at the middle school before that. So I have been working for this system for 22 years now. And I'm here to talk about the cuts, the proposed cuts to the language department. So the first set of cuts that happened, or the more recent set of cuts that happened about 10 years ago, cost us at least half a year in academic achievement. It's a domino effect, right? Because language is like math, it builds on itself. So we had to restructure our instruction, our teaching at that point. Then on top of that, we had the pandemic, and we lost about another year. So I look at the level where my Spanish 3 teachers, students are now, and it's over a year of where my students used to be. It's sad. It makes me sad because I wish we could teach them more so they could leave the school being bilingual, really being fluent, and being able to go anywhere and use their language. Because of all the time we have lost, it's also become very difficult to prepare the students for the AP test. It still happens. I don't know how. When in reality, we should be expanding the language program. We should be doing 6 years of language program, not cutting the language program. So these cuts are only making a bad situation even worse. Losing about a third of the staff, the language department staff at the middle school. And since the students would be de facto starting their language careers at the high school, because it would be considered exploratory, this would only allow them to have 4 years of their chosen language. At that point, these cuts are going to cause us to be unable to teach AP language to our students, which is one of the crowning jewels of this school system. Coming to this meeting, I saw a banner right by Town Hall advertising the dual language for students studying kindergarten, and I thought, oh boy, is that ironic or what? I have a question for our school committee, for our school system. How are we going to support the dual language when we're planning to cut the word language? Doesn't make any sense. I'll be quick too. And so let's find the money, and I will just say, let's talk to UMass, let's talk to Amherst College. They really need to step up and help us out. Thank you.
Excuse me, is it okay if I jump in here and give comment?
Oh, sorry. Sure.
Is that okay with you?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So I just wanted to, on that topic of the language proposal, I wanted to give the students perspective on this. So, So I'm Miguel Pinero. I'm a senior here at Amherst High School, and I started learning French in Madame Stankwitz's classroom in 7th grade. Even though my friends told me to take Spanish for an easy A, since I already speak Spanish. I chose French because I've always been a fan of a challenge. And this challenge in particular has turned out to be one of the most rewarding of my life. Beginning with those dancing warm videos that Madame Stankiewicz played for us in 7th grade, over there, in 8th grade, that taught us how to count in French, and continuing with Madame Cisse's relentless enthusiasm about spreading cultural awareness of our home country, Senegal. My journey taking French in this district has taken me from my first Comment ça va to a president of the French club at the high school who has taken AP French and is actually taking the stamp exam tomorrow to earn my second seal by literacy in French after Spanish. I am a product of 6 years of taking language classes in this district and 2 amazing French teachers, Madame Cisse and Madame Stankiewicz, who are here today. And so when I hear that the recent language proposal aims to shift 8th grade language from all year to every other day, essentially cutting class time in half, and make the middle school language classes non-cumulative, I say to myself, what are we doing? My classmate Elizabeth Sawicki says, I have taken Latin since 7th grade and am now a junior. Since I was able to take Latin in middle school for an entire year, I was able to build a good base in middle school. Now in high school, with our block schedule, my Latin has gone downhill with not having it for a full year. If I have had Latin only half the time in middle school and then gone to high school and not had it all year even more, both mine and other kids' languages are going to go down the toilet. Our high school students already have to deal with cramming in a language for about 4 months only to not practice it for another 7 to 8. If we take away the foundation of our language learning in middle school, we're left with a curriculum that cuts our students short in language during arguably the best stage of development to be learning a language in a world that's the most globalized it has ever been. In a district that supposedly prides itself on cultural and bilingual literacy, I ask that we consider the outcomes we're taking away from students after me with this proposal. Thank you.
Well, that's a good thing to follow up on. I'm Rebecca Sinos. I'm a professor at Amherst College.
Excuse me, could you pull the mic a little closer?
Oh,
Tip it.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm Rebecca Sinos, and I teach at Amherst College Greek and Latin. And I write to ask that you vote not to make cuts in the middle school language program, which I see as one of the features that distinguishes our school system from run-of-the-mill programs in other districts. Students in the middle school, as has been said, are at an age when they are able to soak up complex patterns of language. The middle school program encourages them to make the most of that. Instead of trying to memorize charts of forms to race into it, as one has to do if one starts late, then these students can learn through hearing, seeing, repeating real conversations, a more natural learning process, and it teaches nuances beyond what charts convey. The students I know who have had this advantage tend to be better readers, better thinkers even, as a result of this experience. Much of the world right now is in fact multilingual, far richer in language experience than we tend to be in the United States. It seems to me that the ability to reach beyond the conventions of our own immediate environment, as language learning requires, is something we should encourage. To be able to lift one's gaze to see beyond the immediate setting is a boon at all times, and it is a great help in times of stress. We should do what it takes to maintain that language program that offers such opportunities to our students. Thank you.
Hello again. My name is Molly Cooksey. I'm one of the Spanish and English teachers in the Caminantes program at Fort River. I work in the kindergarten classroom with Amneris Cuevas and some other amazing educators. And I'm so glad Mari just said it. I also saw the banner excitedly inviting people to sign up for Kindergarten Caminantes. Y ¿por qué? Like, why would we do that if this district isn't showing that we really invest in multilanguage learners, which are the fastest growing population in our public schools in this country and have been for a very long time? And I'm talking about students that come here starting to learn English. I'm talking about English learners, English speakers who are starting to learn other languages. Mi profe de español está aquí. Hola, Ms. Legowitz. And I also was able to take Irish language classes for partial credit at the high school when I was a student there, when Mr. Brule was still volunteering. And so I started to be trilingual. I've been able to travel. I've been able to get different jobs because I'm bilingual. Being bilingual es un superpoder. And it really, if you look at brain maps, the people that speak different languages, multiple languages, they are able to problem solve and think critically in a way that unfortunately people that don't have that access are not. We know that our students that get support to learn multiple languages or different languages other than just English have higher test scores and tend to outperform their monolingual counterparts the further into school they get. This is not just a fringe benefit. This is at its core a structural benefit for our students' brains as they become learners and citizens of our world. All 50 states, including South Dakota, finally, now accept the state seal of biliteracy. This is an opportunity for our district, an opportunity to capitalize on resources we already have. We have an amazing set of teachers, an amazing set of students, an amazing community that speaks over 38 different languages, and we can take advantage of that. That can be something that we celebrate, continue to celebrate, but in order to do that, we have to prioritize it. Multilanguage learning, no, it's okay. Multilanguage learning is something that's really good for children, and it's not just for young children in Caminantes, but Caminantes is something that people in the past from school committee have given themselves a pat on the back for helping create. You cannot do that and applaud yourselves if you're not willing to then continue to commit to multi-language learning all the way K to 12. Please reject this budget. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Mitchell. I'm an Amherst resident and a parent to 2 children at Fort River who will soon be at the middle school. And I'm here tonight to urge you to reject the proposed budget cuts. I hope you will listen to all of the educators, parents, and students who are begging you to show our children that their education is a priority and who are telling you that these budget cuts would hurt our children and the district as a whole. You are in the process of hiring both a new superintendent and a principal for the middle school, and yet are simultaneously about to set these 2 people up for failure by giving them under-resourced schools and educators who are drowning or who are operating in programs that have been gutted. You were elected to ensure that our children have access to high-quality public education, not to rubber stamp a budget or to help the towns balance theirs. I understand that this budget process is far from ideal and that the options are not great, but as a district, we have reached a crisis point. You can show our kids that they matter by voting no to this budget. You can show them that they are a priority by telling the town governments that we simply cannot operate like this, that school funding must be prioritized. And you can fight for our kids by advocating on their behalf to Amherst College and asking the college to do what many other comparable colleges do, to act like a member of the community and pay its fair share. We are counting on you, and our kids are counting on you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Allegra Clark. I am the parent of a first grader at Wildwood. I also graduated from this high school in 2003, and we moved back to Amherst in 2018 because we knew what the school system was like. My husband and I both went through it, and we wanted that for our children. And I've been pretty active in advocating for the schools even before my son was in school, because education is important. That's why we moved back here. And every year it seems like I'm advocating against balancing the budget on the backs of our most marginalized students, our low-income students, our Black students, our Latino students, our students who have special education needs, and our language learners. And this budget guts programs for all of those again. And, you know, thinking about languages, I don't want the kids who are going into high school next year to have access to one less thing that I had access to in this school 20 years ago. If they can't get to the AP level of language, that's a big disservice to them. And honestly, I'm scared that by the time my son's ready to go into the middle school, there's not going to be a regional district left. If we're cutting 10% of our teaching staff this year, what's it going to look like next year if we can't right this wrong? If we can't right the ship, find more funding for our schools, and get things back on track, because this is not a good look for Amherst. I'm really concerned about the restorative justice cuts. I think that program was aimed to bring some equity into discipline because the district has a history of disproportionately disciplining students of color, students who are non-English native speakers, and students who are from low-income families. And if we cut that position, I mean, listening to Mr. Buford speak and all the students who he's touched, it would, I think, devastate the mental health of the youth. I'm a social worker myself. I know that especially the last 4 years, between substance use and mental health concerns, things have not been going well. And there's a study that just came out about 1 in 4 adolescent girls being put on antidepressants in the wake of the pandemic. And so if we're cutting mental health services, if we're cutting restorative justice, what's going to happen? I urge you all to vote no on this budget tonight, or to amend the budget to include all the money that needs to be in it to keep the school operating like it has been. I am glad to hear that the APA March went well and had some contact with Amherst College's president, and I urge you also to motion tonight to appoint somebody to negotiate with Amherst College. I think that's a really important avenue, and we've had professors come speak tonight about what the impact of cuts to language would look like. So I think that's important to think about, that the schools want to partner with us, whether it's supporting our programs or hopefully giving them money. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Georgia Malcolm, and I work in the athletic department. And I kind of wore this shirt, you know, especially tonight, to show you that I'm a, what does it say? Boy, mom. Boy, mom. Yeah, but I'm a boy, whatever. But it means that my son is black, so I have to pray a little bit different. So, you know, there's so much to say, little time. Doug, remember when you got in the first time, remember what I said to you? I said, I will support you, but I can't support you because you're not doing the right thing. And you need to tell Mike to come out of your ears. So anyway, you know, in terms of Amherst College, I'm not going to blame them, because the school committee have always taken hands-off approach and kind of left it to the superintendent. I found out that Amherst College offered the regional school committee $1 million, like $100,000 a month, and Mike Morris rejected it. Do you understand? I also heard it was offered $200,000, and it was also turned down. So I don't know what is going on. I'm just telling you, Amherst College is probably on the side wondering what the hell is going on. I don't know if there was attachments on what the money should be spent for, and Mike maybe wasn't committed to it. I don't know. But you guys need to have a conversation with Amherst College to find out what is going on. You know, I was emailed this week about, you know, like I said, when it comes on to black and brown people, they like to police us. So I was emailed about a purchase one of my coaches made for a software that was needed for a particular team. And then they proceeded. They needed to be reimbursed because they were told by the governing body that they needed this. And it was like $100 and some. And then I got an email chastising me that according to school policy, and I looked online, I couldn't find any such policy. I welcome the policy. I want to follow the rule book. I just don't want it to be thrown at me and not at other people. So that it has, you know, whole slew of stuff. So this leads me to procurement. Massachusetts General Law 30B. There's rules around procurement. So when I hear about special ed $705,000, that is problematic. I spoke to the lawyer today at the Inspector General office, and he says that is not okay, right? I know for a fact, if I'm buying something for $10,000, that I need to get 3 written bids, and I have to go with the cheapest one. Anything up to $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, no, you have to get RFP, IFP. It has to be posted in a newspaper, and I don't know what the hell is going on with special ed, but you guys need to look into it, because the amount of consultants that are coming into the building, it's off the chain. BCBAs, all these things. As a matter of fact, the person Doug hired, I mean, I saw the consultant, I saw the RFP for the search firm you guys hired. Doug hires all these consultants. He doesn't go through any process. He has a guy in there paying him $80 or $100 an hour to oversee. He's an overseer for the black people in HR. And he's making like between now and June 30th, he's going to make like $25,000. The union met with him. What is your role? He couldn't tell us. He couldn't tell us. He worked in a small school that basically he was the HR and the payroll person. I mean, so you guys, you have to do your job. There is a disconnect. You have to ask questions. You know what I'm saying? We're not trying to be a pain here. But I mean, we're doing the homework for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the procurement. You guys should be questioning. You know, I think we're going to do a public records request. Because what we're finding out is that there's lots of side deals going on to people. This is where the money is going. Where people are making additional contracts. You know, they're being paid extra on the side. People who are senior in the positions are making less. And people coming in are making some side deals in upwards of $20,000, $25,000. This is some crazy stuff. And you guys are wondering why there's a deficit? We're giving you the playbook. Follow up on it, please.
What an honor to follow Georgia Malcolm. My name is Jennifer Jensen, and I'm a middle school teacher at ARMS and a resident of Conway. I want to appreciate this regional school committee for their insightful questions about the egregious budget cuts that will have a devastating impact on our students. Regional school committee members, you've assumed your responsibility as Superintendent Slaughter's boss, and we appreciate it. Thank you. In social studies, we question and we research to get to the root cause of an issue and to take action to make our communities more just and equitable. So we ask you, what is the root cause of this budget shortfall? And what actions will you take to support our community of learners? Keep asking questions and be sure the answers make sense, as transparency and accountability were part of your campaign slogans. I'm thankful to have knocked on dozens and dozens and dozens of doors on your behalf, as well as on behalf of my students. Please ask pointed questions and encourage concise answers that our students deserve, because they are listening. This is their one chance at a high-quality education, and we want to make an informed decision about this budget and their future. Please ask how $705,000 was spent on one special education consultant. Who hired them? Was there a procurement process? Do we know the consultant's effectiveness? Because that's a lot of money. Ask again how we might reduce costs in departments like transportation and the business offices, instead of terminating teaching staff or reducing programming. Some of you have proclaimed yourselves to be data nerds, and to that we say thank you. Track the spending to understand when and why money is moved around. Encourage transparency. Please ask the superintendent to justify every position, especially those that were promoted or created in the days prior to Dr. Morris's departure. Ask for the superintendent's schedule so this group sitting in front of me and in front of us can set a meeting with President Elliott of Amherst College to encourage greater contributions to our school community. Imagine this awesome collaboration to fund K-12 education in our region. Transparency and accountability are essential for a school district to thrive. Please continue to ask insightful questions, to make informed decisions that our students and staff rightfully deserve. Do not approve this budget as it stands. Thank you.
My name is Lauren Mills. I have a high schooler in the 9th grade, and I just had a short comment that I wanted to speak to you guys in public. Who, what, where, when, why, how? Who will the cut of the RJ position for FY25 affect the most? What has been the impact of the RJ classes on students and school culture? Where will students who benefit from RJ participation go for help if the RJ position is cut? When will we do better in increasing RJ programs instead of trying to cut them? Why are we here again? There is a saying, when you know better, you do better. To me, restorative justice is real. It restores responsibility to the students to value themselves and their education, and it brings accountability to our whole community of educators. The restorative justice position should not be cut. I am sure that the current coordinator could find more ways to increase student involvement in the RJ class. Thank you.
My name is Michael Burkhardt. I have 2 children who went through this school program. And I want to talk about real briefly how what you're doing today is going to impact white students. So we live increasingly in a multiracial society, but it ain't multicultural by any means because whites are still in control. It's kind of like deja vu for me to be here tonight from the 90s when we were coming before white school committees to talk about disparate discipline. So our students, especially the white students, are either going to replicate white control, which is what a large proportion of our citizenry would like as they look at an increasingly racial change in this country demographically. Or they're going to help build a new world that we don't know yet, and we don't have the skills to build. So we're either preparing white students to be part of a holding action with white control, or there's going to be people who engage with people of color to build a new society that we can't see right now. And they're going to need new competencies to do that. And some of those competencies include language skills. Because when you have another language, you enter into another culture. I remember when I was 19, I spent a summer in a Mexican village. I had studied Spanish. I thought everybody was like Americans. They just spoke another language. I found out, no, this is a wholly different way to live in this world. And then you are able to say, when we meet, we're not going to agree on what reality is. We're going to have different versions of it. We're not going to come to agreement on one reality. We're going to have to build solutions that meet multiple realities of multiple groups. Restorative justice is a real step in that direction because it makes space for people to realize there's more than one reality here, and we have to find a way to move forward together rather than a win-lose approach. So by holding on to restorative justice and the language programs, you're preparing white students to be able to be real participants in building another world. Not doing that, we guarantee we're putting forth white kids who will try and hold on to the status quo. Choice is yours.
Hi, my name is Kara Bear. I teach band here at the high school and at the middle school as well. I live in Holyoke because I love it and also because I can't afford to live in Amherst. Thank you for your time and attention. Like, seriously, it's a lot. You guys do a lot for us, and we're really grateful. I know you know this, but it's worth saying. Our students deserve access to world language education. Our students deserve a rich and diverse exploratory program at the middle school and a wide range of electives to dive into at the high school. Our students deserve access to healing spaces within their schools. Our students deserve to have these things at our public schools without having to seek out charter or private schools. Our staff members deserve full-time employment and health care. Our staff deserves not to be pitted against one another for funding and support. And none of this is possible with this budget proposal. Please vote no and work together with all stakeholders to increase funding that will prevent these cuts.
Hello, Irene LaRoche. I live in Sunderland. I have been teaching at the middle school since 2003. I'm so happy to hear so many people coming out tonight for restorative justice. There was a lot of talk about the high school. I want to say that the middle school wholeheartedly supports restorative justice program there. We know that middle school can be an awkward, complicated, and at times a challenging period for students. I'm reading this on behalf of staff in middle school. Young adolescents are at a critical time of their development, which comes with conflicts. It is all challenging to navigate. On a daily basis, the Restorative Justice Coordinator works with students individually and in student groups, with students and teachers, and at times too with staff and teachers. These interventions have resulted in real successes in creating a civil, respectful, and overall better learning environment for our ARMS community. When our students get into disciplinary issues, instead of being faced constantly with punitive discipline measures, such as being sent out of class, or worse, being suspended, the Restorative Justice Program provides an avenue which teaches students critical problem-solving skills so they can learn how to behave appropriately and at the time be held accountable for the behavior. The Restorative Justice position is therefore fundamental to school programming. The Restorative Justice Program has been on the front line of creating behavioral change in collaborative, meaningful partnerships with our students. We teach them how to engage in civil and respectful conversation and how to manage and repair conflicts. Restorative justice is especially important for our most marginalized students whose voices have historically been unheard. That is, students of color and students with disabilities primarily. Reducing punitive traditional forms of discipline leads students with more robust coping and solution-oriented approaches to daily life in middle school, critical, actually, to middle school development. Restorative justice is well-researched and well-recognized. Across most progressive school systems, restorative justice has become an integral part of the disciplinary and developmental practices. The state of Massachusetts also requires schools to have an alternative approach to punitive disciplinary measures. Our restorative justice program provides this alternative. In general, RJ helps to create a better school climate and culture, increases equitable learning opportunities to vulnerable students, and promotes an environment of emotional and physical safety for all. Cutting the RJ program would be doing a great disservice to our students, especially our students who need the most from us. Not having the program will significantly reduce the educational experiences and opportunities for our students and families, and will make the jobs of our teachers even more challenging. We cannot say enough how important RJ is in helping to create a holistic middle school student, making them ready for high school and beyond. I just wanted to add also, I'm also on the APA exec board. I'm asking you all to please reject this budget. Since the announcement of the budget, which you know has been very quick for all of us, we have spent numerous hours on multifaceted solutions. We know that many of you have also been doing that. We would really like to encourage you and direct our district leadership to do the same. They need to be looking for short and long-term solutions. We learned from the president of Amherst College the district has not reached out to him. The APA has. We are not seeking to have them solve our problems. We need to be collaborating with them and with various organizations to work for these long and short-term budget solutions. We cannot continue like this. Reject the budget and let's work together. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lamiko McGee, and I am the dean at the middle school. First, I'm going to say that George's son, Carrington, won an award at GCC for biliteracy, and he was the first student to ever win that award. And, of course, he's a graduate of Amherst High School. The largest academic library in America, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's at least in the top 10, is less than a mile away. Why do we need one of the largest libraries in the country in a town with less than 45 residents? And what is the point if we have a population who cannot read? Do you know the greatest indicator of property value? The quality of the public schools, not libraries. And so you can have great libraries, but if you don't have public schools, you won't get families to move here. And so we need to think about that. I love my work. I love doing my job. I love working with Dr. GB, and between the dean and the restorative justice person, Dr. GB, we do a great job of that at the middle school of working with children to educate them on having positive social interactions with other students in the school. We both love our work. I implore you, please keep the social justice program in both schools. One of the things we'll also have if we take these cuts, we often, people of color, are the last hired and the first fired. Doreen Cunningham, you can say what you want to say about her, but she was very effective at bringing people of color into this district. And if we cut positions, the people who are going to leave are going to be the people of color because they are those with the least seniority. And so I want you to think about what that means for the district when we lose all of this diversity that we've worked so hard to bring about. And it has made a difference in the lives of children in this district. So please reject this budget and let's find a way to keep the quality of public education in Amherst. Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public that are here that wanted to make a public comment? Okay. We have many voicemails also.
Can you voicemail next time to the written list?
Sure.
Text list? Okay.
Yep.
I mean, cool. Just was asking.
Yep.
My name is Yael Sears, and I'm an Amherst resident, a Wildwood parent, and a Amherst educator. I was glad to learn about the proposal that the elementary and preschool special education positions won't be cut. However, I was dismayed by the fact that cutting the instrumental music position is still on the table. We continue to see cuts in those student-facing positions.
Sarah Bess, I can't hear it.
Standardized testing scores or that are not legal.
What?
I'd say if you can get the mic closer to the speaker and then so
Go ahead.
just so we can pick up.
Why don't you log in on my computer, which has better speakers, and in the meantime, you're going to show the written
Oh,
comments?
that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Do you want to take a 5-minute break?
I don't know if he's got it. Maybe I don't.
There it goes again.
I looked during the meeting, but I didn't see it. Well, I remember seeing it, but I don't know where I saw it. What?
Wasn't just me. Last week with the recording
Huh, because I just played them off right out of my email during virtual meeting. No one told me this.
I know.